What's good, everybody? This is Edgar, the host of Snug Wrestling, and I'm here to tell you guys about Aquila. If you guys are tired of your flimsy sunglasses, then listen up, because Aquila has handcrafted limited run shades straight from Los Angeles. They're made out of 50% recycled materials like plant-based cellulose, acetate, and titanium. They've also got UV blocking sun lenses, blue light options, and even prescription lenses. I know I need prescription lenses. I'm blind as ever. And these shades, these glasses, these frames, they're built to last and they look super clean. Plus, Aquila is serious about sustainability. They last a long time. They're also a member of a nonprofit organization, 1% for the planet, and that means 1% of every sale is donated to a reputable environmental organizations around the globe. And because you listen to us, Snug Wrestling, you get an exclusive 10% off any order with the code SNUG at checkout. That's SNUG at checkout. And full transparency, if you use that code, you help us out a lot because we earn a small commission, but it helps keep the show rolling. And you get top tier eyewear in return. So go to aquila.la, that's AKILA.LA, and level up your look, level up your shades responsibly.
It's on tonight! 4 letters! 1 word!
Snug.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to Snug Wrestling. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Snug Wrestling. I am Edgar, the host, and today the European tour for WWE continues. Fortunately or unfortunately for some people, it works out for me sometimes because I work from home and all that good stuff, so I'm able to watch it live as soon as it goes on air. But yeah, a lot of people seem to be confused about this whole European tour still. Like, oh, how come I can't find it? Where is it? And blah, 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 blah. So yeah, there's been a lot of that going on. I posted all the clips and stuff. This Monday Night Raw took place in Germany again. I believe they're still in Germany. And the big main event was AJ Styles versus Gunther. And there was a lot of interesting stuff that happened tonight that we're going to go over. But like usual, like always, the Snug Crew is here, Mr. Blood, Tommy, and Toxic. And let's hear your quick overall thoughts of the show tonight before we get into all the dirty details of this episode of Raw.
So right off the bat, I'm going to say it straight. What pissed me off about Raw tonight was the fact that even though it had aired so much earlier in the day, I started watching it around 7 o'clock, and I still had ads. I paid $24 a month for Netflix, and now that my mom has convinced me and my wife and her teamed up on me for me to give her my Netflix password, I now pay an extra $6 a month on top of that $24 for Netflix, because now they charge you for giving out your account outside your own IP address. So you would think at $24 a month, now about to be $30 starting next month, you think most streaming services, that would be an ad-free account. Anything above the most base would be ad-free. Even on something like a premium live event. I sat through on a show that had already ended 2 hours and 23 minutes with 3-minute ads every 12 to 15 fucking minutes across almost 2.5 hours. It was really fucking aggravating. The second thing is, I felt like, hey, we're getting closer to Rumble. There's a couple good things here, but this show was terribly paced. Second match didn't even start till the 55th minute of the hour. And then right after it starts, it goes into an ad break. And then I come back from the ad break, I look at the clock, and it's now 1 hour and 3 minutes into the show, and we are finally in the women's fucking tag match. And I'm like, this show is 1 hour and 3 minutes in, and the second match basically just started. Like, what the fuck, guys? It wasn't a boring show. It was just a nothing show. I would say this show boiled down to it was a one-match show with 2 great segments.
Oh, I just hate the European tour altogether, mainly because I don't get to watch the shit live. I mean, for those of you that know, I'm still in school, so when the show is happening, it's already done and over with, or it's happening as I'm getting out, which isn't a problem, but it is at the same time because whoever's in charge at Texas, the state has to put that phone ban. So I mean, it takes me like an hour to get out of school, which is fucking ridiculous. So anyways, that's not the point. The other than the ridiculous bad pacing of the show, it was still good, but just the pacing sucked for me.
Oh yeah, the pacing was definitely rough. You could definitely feel it throughout. But my only problem is this. They're just now starting to announce fucking matches for Saturday night's main event a week before it happens. We were supposed to have that shit like a month ago starting. But that was really like my only.
Well, what phone ban?
You didn't.
That's what I want to know.
Okay, so in Texas, like at the start of this school year, they made a new law to where like you have to put your phone in a new fucking yonder pouch, and it's stupid.
What?
Yeah, it's a whole thing where they're basically limiting kids' interaction because I'm not trying to get political here, but Texas is a red state, and the Republicans have been massively going after the youth and their ability to be online. That new law that Trump signed where with parental advisement, parents can increase the length, but they signed it and it began the beginning of this year where if you're under the age of 18, you're only allowed 1 hour of social media access a day. Unless your parents increase that limit. That's another law. And then Texas started this one last year where they basically lock these kids' phones up all fucking day. And it's idiotic because in case of some horrible thing like another mass shooting, kids have no way to safely contact their parents or, message for help in case of emergencies. It's a dumb fucking law, but it's just another way to control, people and then tell them that it's.
Well, Tox, we're doing these lives for way more than an hour. That kind of passes your 1 hour of social media, doesn't it?
I don't. My mom doesn't care. She doesn't care how long I'm on my phone. She doesn't.
Okay.
But
well, shout out to Toxic's mama.
Yeah, she's goated.
That's what's up. Speaking of goated, and speaking of mommies or mamas, Rhea Ripley started off this show again. And Tommy, you and I, we kind of talked about this a little bit last week on our NXT review about how the women have just been taking over these shows the start of this new year. Last week, 3 women's matches, 1 men's match in the main event. Same thing with NXT. SmackDown had a couple women's matches. And this episode of Monday Night Raw started off no different. Started off with the new women's tag team champions, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky. And new champions, one of the questions that we had last week was, okay, the Kabuki Warriors lost the titles. What happens with them, right? Well, it looks like they're staying in the women's tag team division, but not by the rematch clause that we all know and love because it's pick and choose when it comes to rematch clause. They're still involved. They get mixed in with Liv Morgan, Roxanne, and also the other tag team, Bayley and Lyra. Now, Liv Morgan pleaded her case. She came out to interrupt the new women's tag team champions, Rhea and Io. Liv Morgan never lost those women's tag team titles. I believe she was still champion when she got injured. She had to lose them. And then all that happened with Roxanne getting involved. So technically, I'm like, okay. To me, it just made sense. Hey, give Liv her rematch because she never lost the titles against the new women's tag team champions at Saturday night's main event. That would be a good match. But instead, it just looked like they're just going to have a big fat fucking 3-way, which was my biggest fear. And that's pretty much what happened here. They set up a triple threat tag team match for later on in the show.
All I heard was big fat 3-way involving 6 women. As far as it's
Jesus Christ.
Where do I sign up? It came down to it. Gotta have some fun. I'm going to hell if that gets clipped. But look, as far as it goes, look, I'm starting to not sour. I'm not starting to sour on Rhea and Io. I'm starting to not really feel it, and it's because every time I see them together every week, and their entrance is longer than fucking shit. And they're just so overly congratulatory of each other all the time. It's starting to feel like their union, as much chemistry as they have, it feels a little forced. The overly smiliness of them when they're together, every single time. Just Io, you can clock that within 20 seconds, she's going to always look up lovingly at Rhea and then do her very overly expressive
Tiger Laga, I see your comment. We're going to address it in a bit.
The face that she always makes it Rhea, overly smiley, overly super touchy, overly touchy with each other constantly, putting her hand on her waist all the time, on her chest, I'm like, just fucking make out already or get a room. Like, it's starting to feel a little like not uncomfortable, but like you guys are you're pushing how close you are a little too much. That I'm not feeling that you two at one point remember that the other one was a massive threat to the other, and that you are too safely congratulatory of each other, trying to make sure that one doesn't feel like they're more over than the other, or that one isn't trying to steal the spotlight more than the other one. And at this point, it's a little much for me. When it comes down to it, another thing, I disagree with Liv. I don't think Liv deserves a rematch right off the bat just because she never lost it. Because here's the problem. Remember, when she went out injured, they then had Raquel and Roxanne defend those titles under Freebird rule. Freebird rules automatically means that any combination of two can defend those titles. And they did, and then they lost them. So it didn't matter if Liv was in the match or not. She freebirded her position as champion to Roxanne. And then Roxanne and Raquel together lost those titles. So I was fine with them having a contendership match because it made sense. You've been gone for 7 months. Someone else lost your shit. Y'all ain't been tag champs in a minute in the Judgment Day anyway on the women's side. So why should you automatically skip the line when you come back, even though I love you? But no. So I was fine with this, and it worked out anyway because they still wound up winning. So, great. Let's see what happens.
Just really quick, I'd like to read this comment because it's really interesting. Are we seeing an arc where Asuka faces Kairi Sane one-on-one? The arc is in which finally Sane snaps and has enough of Asuka's antics. And I want to point this comment out because that's where I thought we were going with all of this.
That's what I had originally said.
And then, boom, they're just right back in the whole tag team division mix again.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I mean, the WWE does this thing where they tease all these potential splits and breakups, and then they never do anything. So I wouldn't be surprised if they don't pull the trigger on that.
Yeah, especially since when this came together, I was such a if you remember over the summer, I was a huge defender of this story to you specifically, Snug, because you didn't really see, or you didn't feel like you were getting it. You thought it was cheesy. You thought it was hokey. And I was like, well, hold on. This is a story about Kairi Sane feeling like she's under the thumb of Asuka. It's an abusive relationship.
No, I get it. I just didn't give a fuck about it.
No, but back then, that's what I was defending to you. And you were like, well, let's see it. Then for a couple of weeks, they did sow the seeds. Asuka constantly, she hit Kairi. She used Kairi as the human shield. She even sat there and would scream at her, make her cower down. And we saw Kairi constantly reluctant to attack Io. Constantly reluctant. She didn't want to do it. And then one week, magically, she's just like, fuck it. Let's go with the flow. So sorry. Maybe we'll see it sometime around Mania or after.
I don't know why, but I mean, I'm happy that Io and Rhea are champions, but it's just, I don't know why. It just seems stale to me. It seems stale to me, and I don't know why. Even though that we knew this was going to happen, and we wanted this to happen with Rhea and Io. But it's just weird seeing Rhea and Io out of the singles picture, out of the like a singles title picture. It's just weird seeing them out of that, but I guess I can get used to it. Not that I don't like it, it's just a little weird to me.
Yeah, I was also under the same thought process of, oh, Kyrie and Asuka are going to split up now. But as Snug said, here's the problem. WWE has this thing where they just go, hey, look, yes, we sowed the seeds. You're not breaking up yet. Want to know what the biggest example of that is? The damn Judgment Day. They have been doing that shit for a few years now, hinting at so many different breakups. And then they just don't do it whatsoever. They end up kicking one member out, kicking two members out, and then doing absolutely nothing to fully split up the group as the seeds were put together.
Or they keep getting injured.
Yeah, the point still stands there. But I feel like I already know the dynamic of this tag team. You've got Rhea, who is this really tough girl, all of that. And then you have Io, the living embodiment of one of those like wacky arm things you see outside of car dealerships. That is pretty much what Io is. That's just what she does all the time. It's just like, like that is literally her all the damn time. So a triple threat contendership match was bound to happen at this point. It was either that or an inevitable fatal four-way, in which that I still wouldn't be surprised if that inevitably happened.
You know, if I could, Toxic, to your thought really quick, that clicked with me when you said that you don't know what it is, you love them together, but they're starting to feel stale. Do you want to know why they're starting to feel stale, my friend? Because they have been interlocked in a fucking story for a year next month.
You mean Rhea and Io, right?
Rhea and Io. It all started on that stuff when they kept telling the story of, oh, she's never beaten yada yada yada. And then literally, randomly, like a month or less right before Mania, all of a sudden on that Monday Night Raw, surprise victory, Io takes the title off of Rhea. They have literally been embroiled with each other for a straight year. And every story that they have been in for the past calendar year has involved each other in some way, shape, or form. And they have not had a chance to get away from each other the entire time. And that's why it feels stale. Where Rhea goes, Io goes. Where Io goes, Rhea goes. And at this point, it's starting to feel like they're basically have handcuffs on Kyrie and Asuka too, because they can't get away from them either since like last June or July.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they've been involved with one another going all the way back to NXT also, not just the main roster, which is crazy to think about.
You're right.
Which is probably another reason why they're so close the way that they are, is because, I mean, they've been working together for years, literally, same against each other, in tag teams and storylines and yeah, pretty crazy stuff. But the final point that before we move on is when it comes to, what Bludd said about Liv Morgan not deserving a rematch. I get what you're saying. I get what you're coming from. But one could still argue like Liv Morgan didn't decide like, hey, I'm going to let someone else defend the title for me. It was just kind of chosen for her. Like she didn't really have a say in this. Yeah, she didn't really have a say in this. So to that point, I mean, she can argue and say, hey, like, I didn't agree to that. I feel like I deserve another shot. And to me, it just made more sense just to, at least we're going to have a tag team match, one team versus one team on Saturday night's main event. We'll get into the triple threat match, the number one contenders match in a bit, but I just felt like we just went in a whole ass circle and it just made more sense to me. All right, let's just give Liv the rematch that she never lost, she never got with Roxanne. And then if you want to have a women's tag team match, you can still have the other girls wrestle and be like, hey, whoever wins this tag team match between the Kabuki Warriors, Bailey and Lyra, will face the winner from Saturday night's main event between the champions, Liv and Raquel, because Liv technically never lost a championship. To me, that would have been a lot better, but we'll get into what they ended up doing.
All right. I mean, my only final thought on that so we can move on is completely understand where you're coming from. My only thing is that in their own rules, their own continuity, the Judgment Day has no lead. So it didn't matter whether or not Liv didn't choose for someone to defend it. The group made a collective decision to do it without her. And that should stand regardless of how she personally felt. She was sidelined. They made choices within the rules to the general manager themselves for it to be a thing so they wouldn't get stripped. And that's what happened. So she can be upset about it, but she still needs to earn her way. And she did that tonight.
Fair enough. All right. The greatest faction in the whole entire world, not just the WWE, Los Americanos, real luchador legends. Bravo. No, this was Rayo Americano. Wrestled the new up-and-coming star from NXT, Javon Evans, in a one-on-one match, and the match was bouncy. Javon Evans was looking amazing like always. You know, fresh, hot, young talent coming into Monday Night Raw, so got to make him look good. And who better to make him look good than Rayo, not Tyler Bates in this situation. But yeah, it was a quick, I want to say like 5-8 minute match. Nothing too crazy. Javon did his thing, hit his finish, got the win. 1, 2, 3 in this opening match for Raw.
Oh yeah, man. Javon has a great first showing on Raw, getting called up. And it's not his first time on Raw. It's his first official, really like match on Raw as a brand member. However, it was kind of safe because they made sure to put him up with someone that, is a solid worker in that of Tyler Bate, Rayo, whatever the fuck you want to call him, but it is Tyler goddamn Bate under that mask. And we got to, I remember we were eating dinner, my wife and I, and she hasn't seen Javon wrestle. And I was like, I said, you're in for a treat. I said, this kid, and I was bragging to her. I found myself bragging to her on Javon's behalf. I was like, this kid is 21 years old and he's already on the main roster. This kid is successful. So this kid is great. They love this guy. You're in for a treat. You have no idea just how athletic this. And she was glued to him. And that's a great way to, I feel like, describe what Javon can do for a new viewer. He's an eye catcher. And someone new watching him going, oh shit, damn, that dude's cool as fuck. I want to see that guy wrestle. He's around their age. He reminds them of like backyard wrestling or what you do in the pool or on a trampoline. He gives you that feeling of like, man, this is why wrestling can be so fun. And I think that's what works for Javon so well. He is super fucking relatable in just the style he wrestled. He reminds me of when I backyard wrestled for 7 years on YouTube. He reminds me of that same energy. Goes out there, has fun, gets as bombastic as he can, and you can tell he's just feeling it. And I think he is perfectly slotted on Raw. He's Raw coded for sure. I would also like to point out, I thought it was great that El Grande Americano himself, aka Ludwig Kaiser, got chanted and cheered in this match. The crowd was chanting Ludwig Kaiser, Ludwig Kaiser. And I thought that was great. And it was all around a good opening match, solid, very quick, safe, but a great showing for his official flag plant on the Raw roster.
Got another funny comment here from Tagar Laga. Says Javon Evans makes indie mud shots look elegant. That's funny because have you guys seen those reports that allegedly WWE doesn't see Javon Evans as a potential main event major star in the company?
Yeah, I heard that earlier today, listening to the Wrestle Talk news coming back from the airport. And it was, I believe the exact verbiage used in the report was WWE doesn't see him as a key player. or something like that.
Mm.
And I agree with Luke from Wrestle Talk's assessment, where he said, take that with this report with a grain of salt, because there's no way in hell you can look at Javon Evans and not see great things in his future. And I agree with that sentiment. I think anybody putting that report out there is full of shit, because if they didn't see him as a key main event player, or at least a key future player of some fucking kind, they would not have been putting him on the main roster for months now in special key feature areas. Put him in a fucking tournament where he's featured. Put him on John Cena's final card, for Christ's sakes, and then call him up with a shit ton of fanfare on Monday Night Raw for a debut, and then have him open the show for people in Dusseldorf tonight. So that report, I'm going to say, rip that bitch up, throw it out. It's trash, because this kid is fucking money.
I mean, yeah, he has a great future. He's still really young, 21 years old. You know, who knows what can happen. But, I mean, let's be for real. He's no Braun Breaker. He's no Austin Theory.
You don't need to be a Braun Breaker or an Austin Theory. Look, if you want proof of major key players that were never Braun Breakers or Austin Theory, checks notes, Rey Mysterio. Checks notes, Daniel Bryan. Checks notes, Kofi Kingston at one point. Okay, there's a slew of guys who are not body guys, who are not, second generation superstars, who are just fucking entertaining as hell and absolutely great and amazing despite their size and their muscle.
So I think
when they're stars.
So when I think of like big major stars, I think of, okay, the main event at WrestleMania one day. I think Rey Mysterio did main event WrestleMania once or twice. I'm not really sure. Kofi Kingston never main evented WrestleMania. That's for damn sure.
No, but he did win a world championship at one.
No, I know, but I'm saying the main event at WrestleMania. That's what I think about when I think of major big stars in the WWE.
But with that line of thinking, you could say that, okay, Punk wasn't a main event player then until last year, and he only got to main event night one.
But he should have main evented a long time ago.
Should have, but he still didn't. So shoulda, woulda, coulda. And there are a lot of people who don't even see WrestleMania Night 1 as the main event of WrestleMania. So, and if you look at Javon, he's bigger than Punk is physically. He's definitely more athletic. So if we're talking star power here, then with Punk, all Punk's got versus Javon is gift of the gab and charisma.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Still, I mean, he got a head start in the main roster at a very young age, so that's promising for sure.
Oh, yeah. World's an oyster, man.
But yeah, I think it's way too early to say right now, for reports like that to be coming out already. I think it's a little bit too early for that, but
yeah.
We'll
there are
see.
people who were laughing their asses off at Braun Breaker 5 years ago in NXT. What kind of stupid name is Braun Breaker? Who's wearing tie-dye singlets to the ring as some white meat babyface? Now look at him. He's being touted as the future of the company. So never listen to these reports. It's always a hater who's writing them.
Yeah, but you can tell from the very beginning, Braun Breaker he just stood out like right off the bat, like
he
crazy.
Stood out because he was a second generation, but they made fun of him for months. So if one thing I've learned about these reports and these critics, they're wrong like 70% of the time.
Am I good?
No.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yes, we stop talking. That's your cue to jump in.
Good, because y'all took for fucking. I'm kidding. Anyways, Javon Evans has so much star power that I see him I don't know why, but in the next couple months, taking the Intercontinental Championship off of Dom, because Dom's not doing anything with that. And then if you want to add him into, a story, which we'll probably get into that, maybe, I don't know, because he was in another segment in the show. If you want to add him into that, have him in that, grow him a little bit more in that, and then move him on to Dom. But knowing Triple H, I know he's just gonna fuck it up. He's just gonna screw it all up. Right there, Javon Evans has the perfect opportunity. What's he do? Triple H screws it up. Javon's one of those people that that they have the potential. Look at the classic triple threat that they that him, Obafemi, and Trick Williams had at Stand and Deliver last year. That match was probably the best on the card. So, I mean, he has a lot of potential, but I'm afraid that Triple H will screw it up.
Here's the thing. This match in itself, great. I personally loved it. It showed off everything that Javon Evans can do quite easily within a short amount of time. Here's my thing as well that also pushes me to believe of, hey, this man is absolutely going to main event WrestleMania at some point. Snug, you brought up Braun Breaker. I am going to remind you that Javon Evans was in NXT for a shorter amount of time than Braun Breaker was. And this man is still fucking 21. The point still stands.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that Braun Breaker is absolutely up top, all of that. I think that Javon is still up there as well, close to his level.
Not even close, but that's okay.
You're wrong, but okay. But still, Javon in himself can absolutely, when given the opportunity, show how really fucking good this guy is. And he definitely did that tonight.
I agree with Tommy. On that one there, Snug. I'm sorry, brother. If you believe it doesn't matter that he was in NXT a shorter amount of time, I'd like to note to you that WWE leaves you in NXT for as long as they believe you need to develop, or if they pull you out, it's because
according
they think
to
you're
who?
ready or ahead of time.
According to who?
Perfect action. Oh, I'm glad you asked. Perfect example. There were reports today about Blake Monroe. They were planning on pulling her because they say she's so far ahead, she doesn't need to be in NXT anymore, but they're waiting until Stand and Deliver to do something, and then they're going to call her up. But they say she's further ahead than everybody down there, and they wanted to pull her out like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But that's, again, because NXT is developmental. If they believe you've developed past the point of needing NXT to where you need to test yourself on the main roster, they pull you immediately. Braun Breaker was in NXT for so long because they were molding him, getting the fans behind him, trying to figure out if he worked as a heel or a face. Then they put him with Baron Corbin so Baron could work with him and help him mold Braun Breaker. Before they called him up, he needed more time to cook in the kitchen. And when he still came up to the main roster, he was in the mid card for like the first 9 months to a year and a half, doing half-nothing feuds with the IC championship that are barely memorable. And then he got into this story he's in now, and now he's a star.
No, I'm not arguing that. I'm not disagreeing with that. But, like, I'm just talking about, like, overall just star power, not just, yes, Javon Evans can do the moves, the flashy shit a lot better than Braun Breaker. I'm not denying that. In that sense, Javon Evans surpasses Braun Breaker in every fucking way possible. But Braun Breaker has the look. He has, like, the lineage. He has the star power. He just has it, you know? And that's something that not everyone has. It's just like an overall thing.
Let me ask you a question. If he wasn't a Steiner, let's say the Steiners never existed. Let's say he wasn't a generation talent. Would you feel the same way if you didn't know where all those twitching and all that weird shit and the mannerisms came from?
I would, yes.
Cheesy, or would you still think it's powerful?
No, because he looks like a badass.
But half the people who love him, they love him because he is a Steiner. And because the Steiners set that precedent of that aura, of that energy, of those mannerisms before he ever came along.
No,
without them, people might find it hokey.
Not me.
The weird head shaking and like they might be like, the fuck is that? Dude's having a stroke. You know?
I mean, he's crazy. But
I definitely agree with you that the star powers with Braun, because he does have that once in a generation thing about him, the thing you can't really play. So it's hard to pin it on charisma, star power, energy, aura, intensity. It's not just one thing. It's like when you look at Brock Lesnar, you don't know what it is. You just know that he has it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I agree with you. But I do think Javon is on Braun's level in another way, just not the same ways. And I think once we mold Javon, we might finally kind of start to pinpoint what that way is.
Well, I'm not molding anybody. They don't pay me enough money for that.
They don't got to pay me. Hand me Rhea Ripley. I'll mold all day. Like Clay.
Jesus Christ. All right, let's move on. Blake Monroe, dude. I'm surprised that they have her on NXT because, I mean, she's been wrestling at a high level pro wrestling for a long time, dude.
Time.
Like,
yeah,
Stardom, I
Ricky
think.
Sainz.
Yeah,
I feel the same way about Ricky Sainz. I feel the same way about what's his name? A couple of the guys that came
Ethan
from
Page.
Yeah, Ethan Page. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing over here? You were wrestling fucking Cody Rhodes forever. Like some of those choices, you're just like when I think of like who should have stayed in NXT, I think of like Jade Cargill. You know, I'm not sitting here thinking Ethan Page and Ricky Sainz, who were like in the top fucking programs from the companies they came from. I'm not thinking like, let's just have the Hardys keep wrestling programs in NXT. Like, what the fuck? You know?
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys saw this or if it was just for the international people that have the ad-free thing, but we saw Jey Uso again. And this time he was by himself. No Jimmy Uso. And he pretty much came out just to cut a promo, kind of like last week, except, you know, he said the same shit. Hey, I'm putting all you tag teams on notice. This is a warning shot. I'm like, okay, how many warning shots are you going to send out, my guy? Like, it's been a couple weeks already, but, you know, it's Jey Uso. The people love to yeet still. If it's one thing when it comes to Monday Night Raw, Jey Uso must yeet, just like back in the day. Hogan must pose. Jey Uso must yeet.
I didn't get to see this because it definitely was an international thing. What I did see was the phone call that he was on, I believe, with Jimmy Uso. And I don't know if we're going to cover this later, so I'm going to mention it now. There was a backstage segment earlier with Maxine Dupree where she was interviewed and talking about her rematch for the IC title next week because, hey, they decided the rematch clause fucking mattered this time. That was lucky for Maxine. And she also turned to Akira Tozawa and Otis and said, you know, you guys also deserve to try your best too. You guys deserve a shot to be champions too. You have to, but you need to believe in yourself. So in the same segment with Jay, all of a sudden he says hi to Otis and Akira, who come to him when he's on the phone with Jey Uso. They call their shot for the tag titles. Jey Uso looks at him and goes, well, this is a warning shot, again, to all the tag teams to put you on notice that we are the best tag team champions in the game. So whatever he did in the crowd, it's definitely building to them going to do exactly what I believe Dragon Lee and AJ were doing. They're trying to give every tag team they feel deserves a shot or deserves to at least try to showcase themselves, and they're going to give them a shot at the titles. I think that's a great thing. It's not like the open challenge for the U.S. title, but it does feel good that we've got a lot of champions here willing to shine lights on all these other talents who may not or otherwise get TV time. And I think it's a great thing because it keeps things fresh. We get fresh matchups. Like, we've never seen the Usos versus Otis and Akira. You know, like, that's a fresh matchup to me. So I'm thinking in my head, okay, well, great. Otis and Akira aren't going to win, but it's nice to see, hey, these guys get on TV. They get to remind people that they do work here. They have charisma. The crowd, let's not forget, fucking loves Otis. And it's a good thing to remind people, you know, why these guys work for WWE to begin with, because they're entertaining, because they are great wrestlers, because they are a lot of fun to watch, and they do have good matches when they're given the time. So I'm here for this, and I think it's awesome. Yeah, Jay must yeet, but you know what? If this is the role they want to have him in right now, though I would have loved to see him stay in the singles run, I'm okay with it if the thing he's doing is helping put over in some kind of way, even in defeat, other tag teams that I do think need to be highlighted. Because these rosters, we've been getting repeat matches for months and months and months. And I'm to the point where the idea of the Usos versus Akira and fucking Otis is something I'm like clamoring for at this point, because I need some.
I'm blaming this on you, Blood. If it wasn't for that fucking video that we made, when was it, last week or the week before, of you glazing Akira Tozawa?
Akira's, I don't care what you say. If you're not, and I told you, if you're not willing to do the homework, Don't sit here and deny my glazing. Akira outside of WWE was a phenomenal fucking
You
talent.
fucking manifested this bullshit, didn't you? God damn it.
The power of positivity.
Ugh.
Shut up, New Day.
It's your turn to talk, Toxic.
Oh shit, my bad. What were we talking about again?
Jay
Line.
Uso and
Line.
the tag shit.
Oh.
Fucking guy.
Lines, get this motherfucker their fucking lines. I'm kidding. I'm completely on board with whatever the hell Blood said because I tuned out. Clearly, but I'm completely on board with that. I'm glad that we're getting Otis and Tozawa against the Usos. I mean, that's kind of fresh because we've seen Chad and Otis against the Usos, but we haven't seen Otis and Tozawa against the Usos, which that's a tongue twister. But anyways, I'm happy we're getting that combination. That makes me also want to see like other combinations. For instance, the other two of the LWO. Where the hell are they?
AAA.
Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't count. I'm kidding. It does. The Creed brothers. They're sitting backstage. Who else? That's bad that I don't even know what other tag teams are on Raw.
Well, the other funny thing about this whole segment is right after that Jey Uso and Otis segment, it cut right to the tag team match of Bronson Reed and Austin Theory versus Dragon Lee and Penta. So it kind of makes you think like, kind of funny timing how they put those segments back to back, no?
Like two people from the Vision goes after the titles. Like for instance, Logan and Austin. I guess.
I think that's the match that we're gonna get at WrestleMania.
They keep putting Austin with Bronson too, but I'm with you guys. Let me know if you agree with this. Wouldn't you rather see Logan and Austin as a team so Bronson can continue to chase singles gold like Braun Breaker? Because to me, those two feel like the bigger single stars because they've been pushing this shit for months. Bronson, to me, should not be a tag champion after he beat Roman Reigns.
Yeah, he should be like in mid card because if you want Braun Breaker to be in the world title picture, then you should have Bronson Reed in the mid card and then Logan and Austin in tag title picture.
I agree.
In the perfect world, I would prefer to see Austin Theory as the single getting pushed, Logan and Bronson in a tag team.
I don't disagree with that either because I'm very high on Austin Theory too. And if they brought him back, it needs to be for a bigger reason. But I feel like they're trying to have you kind of take your eyes off of Austin in a sense so you don't see the twist coming when it inevitably probably turns out that he's a sleeper agent.
That's what I think it is.
Did they make that tag team match official with Usos versus Otis and Akira Tozawa?
No,
we haven't got it like officially.
No,
but...
Jay's exact words were, I gotta check with Jimmy. I gotta check with my brother. Gotta do a couple things. I gotta get on this tour, and I get back to you. All right, yeah. And then he goes, yeet. And then Akira leaned around, Otis' shoulder and went, yeet. And then they walked away. So
hopefully Jimmy comes to his senses and realizes, nah, we're too good for this.
They're fighting champions, bro. All comers. That's why they are the greatest tag team right now of all time.
Damn right. And when it comes to Jay, him being that yeet guy, like I would love for him to have way more of a singles push and stay there. But unfortunately, they went, hey, Jimmy's not doing good. Jay, you're doing a whole lot better than your brother. Let's put y'all right back together, right back to the old shit. That is exactly what they did with this tag team, unfortunately. But when it comes to Jay and Tozawa and Otis, I would not mind that. It's Otis and Tozawa. Hell yeah. I would absolutely love that because the fact that it is something different compared to the rest of the main shit with the men, which is, again, they're just doing old shit over and over and over again from time to time. But yeah, when it comes to as well the timing of that backstage segment with that tag match, it does make me think that I'm still going with Theory and Logan personally. Like that's how I look at it because I feel like those two, they're super quick and that will work really really good with each other. But the problem is what they seem to be doing, at least right now, is the new guy in the faction that's super fast with the heavyweight, which, yes, that is a good combination. But at the same time, if this inevitably goes into, hey, I was a sleeper agent, fuck y'all, what is going to happen? Is he going to attack Braun? Is it going to be Logan? Or is he actually going to do it with Bronson, the guy he's been teaming with this whole time?
All right, up next we had the World Heavyweight Champion, Mr. CM Punk himself, to address the fans in Germany. Another lovely promo segment with CM Punk, because he addressed the fact that we're on the road to not just Royal Rumble, but Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania, which is like, no one else is doing this. No one else has addressed the fact that, hey, we're getting closer to April. Shit's about to hit the fan. And CM Punk is excited to see who's next for him at WrestleMania, because CM Punk plans to hold a championship for a very, very long time. And even as far as WrestleMania, as much as some people, don't think CM Punk is going to be champion for that long, he will be, because CM Punk will main event WrestleMania as a World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense to me in my mind. So, yeah, man, I'm excited to see who's going to be the guy to face CM Punk. We're going to find out very, very soon. And then in the meantime, Finn Balor comes out and he interrupted CM Punk. Holy shit. There's a guy I did not expect to see in the World Heavyweight title picture anytime soon, but it makes sense. Finn Balor, at one time, over 10 years ago, was the first ever Universal Champion, I believe. Vacated it due to injury the very next day. Had one title shot since then versus Seth Rollins, and was never able to get that fucking title back, Finn Balor. So it was nice to see him. Every time Finn Balor gets an opportunity at the World Heavyweight Championship, I'm all for that, because I was really upset when he had to relinquish it for unfortunate reasons. But Finn Balor doesn't want his championship match on this day. He wants it for next week in his hometown, in his own country of Ireland. And I believe he mentioned he's not coming alone. He's going to bring someone with him. If I'm not mistaken, that's what Finn Balor said. But great way to hype up a match for next week. And for all the people saying CM Punk is not a fighting champion, well, there you go.
Really quick, he actually said he didn't need Dom. He didn't need JD. He wasn't. But however, I saw this coming for Finn, actually. And I'll tell you why. I had a big feeling Finn was going to call his shot, because one, I remembered he was one of the people Punk said he wanted to face. And two, he just had an interview go live with Cody Rhodes on What Do You Want to Talk About literally last week. And I was like, kind of odd that they're like highlighting Finn out of nowhere on the podcast. So I was like, if they're highlighting him, if they're doing fanfare and stuff for him, they must have something to push for him, especially since JD and Dom are both out on injury. So the men's Judgment Day stuff, where he's really focused on them, is halted. And him and JD can't go after the tag titles because JD is out right now for a surgery, I believe. So when it comes down to it, you had to do something to keep Finn active. You can't just focus on the Judgment Day ladies. This right here, and I am not speaking in any kind of I'm not speaking hyperbolically, I'm not speaking in exaggeration. This was my favorite thing on the fucking show, hands down. Because I'm a ride or die Punk fan. That dude could pimp slap his mom and walk her like a dog on TV. And I'd be like, well, what did he say to her? Or what did she say to him? I have been a fan of Finn Balor since day fucking one. Bullet Club member, the Prince, fucking Prince Devitt. This motherfucker's NXT run was legendary. It was a shame he had to go out for the shoulder injury the day after the Universal Championship. But here's the thing. Finn Balor is one of those guys that should have always been in the world title picture, because he's just that fucking good. He's just that consistent. He's just that reliable. And even without the demon stuff, he has always been a consummate threat because he actually, Snug, you misspoke. He has had another title shot for the World Heavyweight Championship outside of Seth, and it was against Damian. And he was very close to beating Damian for the World Heavyweight Championship. He got, I believe, 2 matches against Damian for the world title. But when it comes down to it, you're saying no Toxic? He only had 1? Because I could have swore it was 2.
Okay. He did have a world title match with Damian, but I'm pretty sure it was the Saturday night's main event when it came back. Triple threat, Finn, Damian, and Gunther. I'm pretty sure.
No, he had a one-on-one where he lost to him straight up clean, even with Dom trying to interfere.
I don't know.
They had a one-on-one. But when it comes down to it, Finn has always belonged in this conversation to me. And since we're talking about fresh, we have never, ever seen these two square up. So one, like we were talking about with the Usos versus Akira and Otis, that's fresh. Then we're talking about CM Punk versus fucking Finn Balor. That's fresh. Then again tonight, first time ever, AJ Styles versus Gunther. That's fresh. Javon Evans tonight versus Ryo. That's fresh. Or Tyler Bate. That's fresh. My point is, WWE, to me, is starting to course correct. A lot on SmackDown, a lot on Raw. We are starting to get a bunch of shit to refresh this brand that has started to feel, and very rightly so, complained by the fans, extremely stale over the last 10 or so months. So I am here for anything that remotely feels new.
Holy fucking shit, Triple H. It is about time you fucking do this, because Finn Balor has needed this. And you know what? It's crazy to say this, but one part of me sees Finn taking it off of Punk. One part of me actually does feel like that. And then Finn goes on to main event WrestleMania. I don't know why, but I just see it. But the part of me that knows he's not going to win is going to be like, oh, damn. He deserves that, but he's just not going to win. But it just feels good to have Finn be anywhere except the tag division, because that's where he's been since, like he was kind of in the Intercontinental picture.
Yes. It's been like 3 years he's mainly been tag, and then they pick him out for single shit like once or twice a year.
Yeah. But it just feels amazing to see Finn in this place where he should have been if he wouldn't have gotten injured by Seth. But still, it just feels so fucking good to have Finn in this picture, and I kind of want to see more of it. I mean, part of me, I would save this for Rumble, but I'm not. Part of me would like to see Finn go on to win the Rumble, but I mean, we all know that's not going to happen. So I don't know. I'm just happy that Finn is finally back in the world title picture.
It's great that y'all bring up Dom, because I'm going to seriously mention this. Y'all brought up the Intercontinental stuff. The last time that he even had a shot at a singles title at even close to Mania, it was that fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental title where Dominic literally ended the match by pinning Finn Balor. So every time Finn even gets close to having another singles title run, ever since that injury thing with the Universal title, he always got screwed over, which is extremely unfortunate because, as we've already said 3 different times now by all 3 of you, he absolutely deserves a singles title run. And again, I'm with Tox on this one. I would not mind if Finn Balor took the World Heavyweight title off of CM Punk, especially with it being in his home country of Ireland.
All right, y'all. The next match was the Triple Threat #1 Contenders Women's Tag Team match. The Kabuki Warriors versus Bayley and Lyra and Liv and Roxanne. And I don't know if you guys saw what I saw or what you guys thought about this match, but I saw a complete fucking. This was a mess of a match. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, because yeah, it was a lot of people involved in this match, and it got confusing. Even the wrestlers got confused a few times during this match. There was a spot where Kairi Sane went for the insane elbow, and I don't know if Asuka forgot to tag her in or Kairi thought she was legal and she wasn't. The referee didn't count, and everyone was just looking at each other like, what the fuck? This is one of the reasons why I hate triple threat matches, and especially when you have all these people in the match. Like, it's kind of hard to keep track of what's happening, and like, they were just doing all these spots. Like, another spot where all five women did like one suplex on each other. It was just too much. Sometimes too much of everything is not good to me. I hated this match, if I'm being honest. And but at least the right team won. But again, going back to what we talked about from the opening segment, just felt like, I don't know, to me it just felt right that Liv and Roxanne would just get the title shot, but they had to go through all of this in order to get there. So I thought it was, I thought we could have cut this out or done something completely different.
It was definitely messy. Some communication issues for sure. Ref Joe Zapta, I believe his name is. Is it Zapta? No, I don't know who ref this match. I'm thinking of the match later. But the point is that like there was confusion. There was a lot. I would like to highlight my favorite part of this entire match was Asuka. Asuka was great out there. I mean, some of those reversals she was doing, the German suplex, craze that she went on there, middle of the match, and then that awesome fucking reversal around Lyra Valkyria, went for a kick, ducked under the leg, then picked the leg to trap the knee, then turn it into a suplex. I was like, fuck yeah, Asuka. Show them why you're the fucking veteran in this match. That woman is 40 fucking like 5 years old, and this bitch is wrestling circles around these motherfuckers. And I'm like, you go, girl. I love Asuka. She was, in my opinion, the smoothest person in the whole match. But again, that comes with years of experience. And it's funny because these girls are like 20 years younger than her almost, and she's wrestling better than them. And, the Tower of Doom spot, I'm a sucker for the Tower of Doom spot. If you do it sparingly, we don't see it that often where everybody's suplexing each other at once. It's like power bombs and suplexes. Felt bad for Kairi, though. Poor girl was at the top of that ladder. And she got smacked down hard. But definitely the messiest part of the evening. However, again, I'm just going to highlight Asuka's performance. I thought she was amazing. Right team won. Right team definitely won. I thought, great to see Liv racking up these wins on her return. That's now 2 weeks in a row or 2 matches in a row. She's back on her little winning streak. And Kairi ate the pin as she should. When I'm thinking about all the women involved here, should have been Kairi to take the pin, or honestly, Kairi or Lyra to me are interchangeable. But when it came down to it, that Oblivion looked great. And yeah, we're off to the races with Liv trying to get back on top, because we all said this. We can't complain about Liv getting shots when we all definitely said a million times the women's division was sorely missing her, and it was very much felt for 7 months. So I'm glad she's back, quickly recapturing that momentum.
Yeah, I agree with Snug. I hated this match. I don't know why. It's not any of the wrestlers' fault. It was boring. The only spots that I did like was the insane elbow onto literally everyone, and Kyrie getting destroyed in the Tower of Doom spot. Those are literally the only 2 spots that I liked in this match. Other than that, it was just boring to me. And I have no thoughts, which is sad because all of the women in this match are really great and talented, but it feels old.
Yeah, Asuka was great. She did her thing perfectly. But hey, Lyra, you're over here saying, hey, why don't anybody take us seriously? This, that, and the other thing. Why are we not a legitimate tag team already? How about you count how many former fucking world champions are currently in the ring with you? Your tag partner, Bayley, Asuka, Liv fucking Morgan, and all 3 of them have been either SmackDown Women's Champion or Raw Women's Champion or both. So you're over here asking, hey, why aren't you guys taking us legitimately? You legitimately just went up against 2 former world champions, and you're also tagging with one as well. There you go. Yeah, I'm more in the middle where Asuka did her thing absolutely perfectly. Everything with her looked really, really good. But at the same time, I do see the side of it where this was pretty much a train wreck.
All right, up next, the build-up for Raquel Rodriguez and the world's women's champion Stephanie Vaquera heats up more and more this week. Raquel Rodriguez went out there to cut a promo on stage with Michael Cole, of all people. And she cut a heel promo, Raquel did, where she's like, oh, you guys want to boo me? You guys feel bad for Stephanie, but you guys don't feel bad for me. I've been getting screwed over and over again, and I should have been in this spot a long time ago. And I'm like thinking this whole time, I'm like, that's what I've been saying this whole time. I feel bad for you, Raquel. Jesus Christ. Like, people don't give Raquel enough credit, man. And it was really cool to see that it looks like they're finally starting to take Raquel more serious week after week because she's getting more heat. She's being more evil, more heelish, and even got heelish on Michael Cole. Poor Michael Cole. I felt so bad for him because Michael Cole was like, hey, Raquel, we go way back. I've seen you grow since NXT. And then she goes off on Michael Cole. I'm like, well, goddamn, what did Michael Cole do to you, girl? He's over here supporting you and shit. But yeah, Stephanie Vaquera comes out. She's still limping, still selling the leg. Security referees come out and make sure nothing happens. And Raquel somehow manages to get around everyone and still gets her hands on Stephanie Vaquera. For the second week in a row, Raquel's left standing tall over the injured babyface Stephanie. So that's cool, man. Because I remember talking about, I want to see Raquel in a better position to the point where we're starting to feel like, okay, she actually has a chance to win. And it's starting to feel like that because not only has she been looking like a badass these past couple of weeks, but also Stephanie Vaquera is injured. So you have a mixed combo of the injury with a much more meaner, more heelish Raquel Rodriguez. To me, I mean, that's getting really interesting. So I'm all for this.
Thought it was stupid. I'm going to be really...
Well, that's what we're here to do.
I'm going to start that over because of my cough. Cut this out.
Oh, okay. Sure, boss.
Thank you. Remind me to give you a raise. I thought this was stupid because it's the same problem I had with the Drew and Cody stuff. I said this before. Hey, I want a title shot. You know what I'm going to do? Almost ruin my chance of getting that shot. You know, it doesn't make sense, Raquel. If you plan on having a match with her into which she's able to compete and defend the title for you to take it off her, maybe don't try to break her fucking ankle to where they would have to call the match off.
But hold on, Blood, real quick. Stephanie Vaquera made a point already that that's not going to let or anything stop Stephanie from defending and proving that she's the best wrestler in the world.
That doesn't matter. She still has to clear the WWE doctors to compete. So she can say that shit all she wants. They'll tell her, yeah, no, you're not wrestling. You're not allowed to. So she can spout that baby face white meat crap all she wants. You can't go against the contract. And if you are too injured to compete, you're sidelined because WWE would be liable for allowing you to compete knowing you're injured. So when it comes, and even though we're talking kayfabe here, the point still stands. Let's just say, let's just talk specifically in kayfabe, not shoot, in kayfabe. If you plan on having a match to take a championship off of somebody, you kind of need them to make it to the match, right? So trying to break this girl's ankle to where she wouldn't even be able to walk to the ring with that title on her shoulder in the first place. Same thing with Drew and Cody. Drew trying to make Cody cost himself the title does not automatically vacate said title to you. It would just be vacated in general. So Raquel, you want that title match so bad, make sure you actually give yourself the chance to have the fucking match. because they will just vacate the title. And then guess what? Your ass winds up in a fucking tournament trying to win another opportunity to have it, which you could then lose that opportunity to even get to the final actual match to win the day. It's stupid. Plus, this was a carbon copy of last week's segment. Heel interrupts babyface, attacks her, she's injured, leaves, comes back and does it again. So it's just like, this could have been an email. Or you could have just replayed what happened last week, which you did, and leave it at that. Have Stephanie cut a promo from backstage in kayfabe and just save the Pearl Girl the trip of limping out there on the bad leg and call it a fucking day. If Raquel wants to be a champion, there's got to be someone to take the championship off of Raquel.
Yeah, but this is professional wrestling. There's no logic in any of this.
That's why I said in kayfabe, not shoot.
I know. There's no logic in any of it. I agree that it's kind of getting stupid, but I mean, I also agree with Snug. I kind of do feel bad for Raquel at this point because she is getting to the point where I see her as world champion material. And I mean, I just want to see it happen, and it kind of needs to happen. So either, I mean, Stephanie drops it, like just relinquishes it, and there's a tournament and Raquel wins the tournament, yay, I'm fine with that. Or they just, I don't know, do something with it. I don't know. But as long as it ends up with Raquel next, I'm happy.
Hey, Raquel, here's some advice for you. If you want to win a title, don't break it. To explain, Stephanie Vaquer posted on her Instagram story a picture of like that side of the belt that kind of hangs down right where it clips. Yeah, she broke that fucking part after hitting it on the boot.
Well, dude, she fucking Raquel fucking swung it with full force on the ground, like trying to hit Stephanie's foot or something like that. I'm like, that seemed fucking risky, swinging it that way. Wasn't
you know how much them belts cost? Like to have made? I was like, fuck. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I was like, damn, that's
to recreate the hardcore title. Don't break the title you're trying to go after.
Fucking Triple H and Gorilla, like, well, that's $5,000. Like,
but yeah,
yeah,
she legitimately broke that part of the title all of a sudden. I'm like, what the hell? She even posted on Twitter a picture of it, says, oops, I broke the title. I'm like, what the hell? But of course, Raquel's got to Raquel and go, hey, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, and just smacks the hell out of that boot with that title.
Yeah, that was insane. But yeah, crazy segment here. And the next match was even crazier. That shit got crazy, y'all. The Vision, Austin Theory, my boy, my guy, the GOAT, Austin Theory and Bronson Reed versus Dragon Lee and Penta. The match was fucking amazing, dude. I thought it was dope seeing Penta and Dragon Lee being mixed in with the Vision being the top faction on Raw. Kind of elevates Dragon Lee and Penta to that main event picture kind of a little bit. So I thought that was dope. Yeah, they worked a great fucking match. And then the ending of this match was a DQ finish. Braun Breaker, who last week lost his World Heavyweight Championship match to Punk, showed up on Raw pissed, as Adam Pearce expected. Adam Pearce warned Paul Heyman, hey, don't be bringing that fucking maniac Braun Breaker over here with that bullshit. And he did. Braun Breaker brought that bullshit and fucking speared the crap out of my boy Dragon Lee. Poor Dragon Lee, man. I mean, he fucking turned him inside out with that fucking spear running full speed. It was a hell of a spear. So yeah, technically Penta and Dragon Lee won this match by DQ. Adam Pearce went out there, tried to stop the whole thing single-handedly, like he can stop Braun Breaker, let alone fucking Logan and Bronson and Theory to, you know, prevent them from attacking the baby faces. And I'm like, where's your security at, bro? What the fuck? No security. Okay. Adam Pearce grabs Braun Breaker spins him around, gets on his face, and Braun Breaker snaps. I thought Braun Breaker was going to take off on poor Adam Pearce, but he just scared him a little bit, grabbed him by the collar and lifted him up like a little boy just for a little bit. Kind of yelled at his face. Nothing too crazy. But shit got intense after this match, man. This was one hell of a match, one hell of a segment. This was absolutely beautiful, I thought.
Yeah, dude, I love this. The match was great. For the sake of time, I'm going to fast track this. My favorite thing about the match is that we're now taking Dragon Lee seriously after like 2.5, 3 years ago. They were just telling us at nauseum, and even last year, the future of Lucha Libre, touted by Rey Mysterio, over and over and over and over and over. But I love that in 2026, I can say Dragon Lee is a part of one of the main event or the main event story on Monday Night Raw with Penta, and they're keeping Penta's momentum after Penta's been on the main roster for about a year now. I'm like, fuck yes. Again, you guys are freshening it up, and I'm here for it. Match was a lot of fun. Really good. DQ finish protects both sides, both teams, keeps everybody's momentum. I really got to give my hat off to Braun Breaker because the dude knows how to legitimately make it look like he fucking hurt some. I, for a split moment, was super worried about Dragon Lee because I thought he actually like got him in the ribs with the shoulder really hard. The way that he rocketed back on that cell. Top marks to both guys because you made me buy in for. Then on top of that, I gotta fucking give my hat off to Adam Pearce, man. Between Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis, gone are the days of the pussy ass fucking GMs. Both these fucking men stand 10 toes down. You know why though? Because they're both former NWA fucking champions. Let's not forget, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis were both great wrestlers, extremely good wrestlers. And I also noticed Adam Pearce is intimidating. Bro is not small. He was taller than Bronson Reed. And from when they were on the side angle, when he was like, I'm sick of this shit, his arms, pretty fucking solid fucking, bicep there, brother. I was like, this dude's taller than Bronson Reed. He was taller than Braun Breaker. And I was like, oh, that's why Adam ain't no bitch. That boy knows he's got size. But I thought this was great. Even in the face of getting threatened by Braun Breaker, that motherfucker didn't roll out of the ring. He stood back up and said, who the fuck do you think you're touching? He was trying to chase his ass down, bro. I was like, this is my GM. That's my guy. Adam Pearce is my nigga, bro. I was like 10 toes down in the face of not one, not two, not three, but 4 fucking solid wrestlers and a Paul Heyman. And this dude was like, get the fuck out of my way. Who the fuck do you think you're touching? I'm sick of your shit. And then taking the tie off backstage. I was like, that's my guy. Bro, I love this shit. This and the Punk shit, best shit on the whole show.
How many drinks do you think Adam Pearce has had already? Because after that, god damn.
I want to know how many he had
bottle.
before to where he was like ready to swing. Because that's not pre-drink. If you're a drinker, that ain't pre-drink. That's, you're that type of drunk.
They're also in Germany too. They're also in Germany too. They love to drink out there in Germany, man. He's probably at the pub or whatever drinking whatever the fuck.
The beers must have been Das Gut.
I think they drink vodka mostly in Germany.
That's Russia.
Sounds nasty. Oh, there you go.
That's
okay.
Russia.
Yeah, Pierce probably had to down a whole bottle of whiskey behind in his office. Poor Pierce. He'll never get his drink. Anyways, I don't know why, but I said to myself while watching this, imagine if Adam Pearce comes out of like retirement from wrestling and gets back in so he can kick Braun Breaker's ass. I mean, that's what we thought with Nick Aldis because Randy kept RKOing him. So why can't we do it with Adam? Because I mean, Braun Breaker's being a piece of shit, which that led him to get suspended. So, haha.
Yeah, it's very clear that these GMs are no pussies. Need I remind you that one of like literally the first ever All In starred Cody Rhodes and Nick fucking Aldis going head to head. like that was the first ever All In. It's very clear that both of these two do not fuck around. The match itself was great. I got a little bit worried for a second after the match because as Pierce is having his little face-to-face with Breaker, if you look in the back, you can see not Adam Pierce, bleh. You can see, I believe it's Dragon Lee getting one hell of a tsunami pounded on. So I was a little bit worried when it comes to that. But the backstage segment a little bit after this, they're in medical, and God, I cannot remember who the fuck walked in.
Javon.
Yes.
The young OG.
Javon walked in, started talking to him and all of that. They both were still holding the hell out of their side.
I'm hoping that this leads to Javon getting in on this too, because then you put a rocket on Javon the moment he hit the main roster. Now he's involved in a main story. This is what I keep hearkening on this entire show, guys, this whole episode. Fresh, course correction. This is great for everybody involved. Austin Theory's getting a spotlight. Bronson, Logan, Braun Breaker, Adam Pierce coming out of the show in a great fucking way. Dragon Lee, Penta. And I mean, this is a win for fucking everybody. And I'd like to point out the thing that really put this over for me before I pass back to you, Snug, and I apologize, was Logan and Paul Heyman begging Adam Pierce to please stop. Logan pleading for Adam, saying, he's going to kill you. Please, he's going to kill you. Please, stop. Don't. He's going to hurt you. That told me Adam Pierce kept going. He didn't care. He was ready to lay hands on Braun too. And I'd like to point out, even though he suspended Braun Breaker, because we haven't mentioned this, he suspended Braun, Paul Heyman said, that's a bad idea because you put your hands on him first. So something tells me that suspension's not gonna.
No, I don't think so either. The other crazy thing about this whole situation, now that you guys bring up Javon Evans, is Rey Mysterio was supposed to be out there. He was, I think, he was like advertised to be out there in this match. Ringside, he wasn't for whatever reason. Rey Mysterio didn't show up. And then we saw Javon Evans, because at first, last week, I was under the impression like, okay, we have like a 6-man tag team situation here with the Lucha guys, Ray, Penta, Dragon Lee versus The Vision, Paul, Bronson, Theory. Okay, cool. Instead, we get a tag team match. Nice. But then Javon Evans is like, hey, telling Penta and Dragon Lee, I got y'all back. Whatever you need, let me know. So I'm wondering, instead of Rey Mysterio, you know, what if we get Javon Evans thrown in there instead? I think that'd be pretty dope.
That'd be amazing for him. It's possible that after maybe the whole plan was for Ray, and then after they saw the opening match, they were like, you know what? Javon is an extremely reliable high flyer. All the Lucha guys, their entire thing is that they're Lucha Libre. They're all high flyers. So instead of putting Ray in there, where, you know, we risk him getting injured, or, you know, he's also older, you know, we want to protect him more, keep him around a little longer. This new up-and-coming fresh guy, well, this entire story for the Vision is about the future of the business. But that doesn't just have to mean the heels. It can mean the faces too, i.e. Dragon Lee, Javon Evans, Penta. So it works all the way around. This right here is the smartest bit of booking so far this year.
Yeah, Ray doesn't need the rub. Give it to Javon Evans. Yeah. All right, you guys, let's go to the main events. AJ Styles versus Gunther. One-on-one match. Two awesome workers, man. The action was on point, hard-hitting, lovely. The match was beautiful. There's really nothing I can say negative about this match. It was a dope-ass fucking match. However, I wasn't too thrilled about it going into this match, if I'm being honest. It just didn't have that hype for me. I felt like it was missing a lot. I kind of like, I don't know if I had that feeling like we got this too soon. I was expecting more, I guess. Like when we first saw that we were going to get this match, I was expecting it to be a much bigger deal than it actually was. It's also like the fact that it's Gunther that just been talking shit about John Cena. And we mentioned this before, like Is this a good idea for Gunther to keep talking shit about someone who's not coming back to defend themselves? So what? AJ Styles is stepping up to defend John Cena's honor? Like, is that what's happening? I don't know, but yeah, man, I wasn't too thrilled about this main event. But I mean, the match itself was amazing. But other than that, not much else I can say about this.
I agree that I think this match should have been like saved for maybe the Rumble. So build it up a couple more weeks, maybe even Saturday night's main event. The cheat bullshit where Gunther cheated tonight to win. He taps out on the opposite side out of the ref's vision, then low blows AJ to then win. And then they run it back the following weekend. So like he goes, "You cheated. I got the footage right here." And then Adam Pearce says he's going to get a rematch this weekend at the Royal Rumble. And that's official. I think would have been great. But yeah, I like that it's AJ defending John's honor, though, because they're of that old guard, right? They're the same age, damn near. And there's a lot of respect. If you ask me, AJ had my favorite match of John Cena's entire last year. And so I like that AJ's like going, that guy was once my greatest rival. And regardless of what side we're on or opposing, that motherfucker deserves your respect and has earned everybody's respect. And you will acknowledge that respect. And I will beat it into you. And I love that shit. This match was fucking awesome. Gunther realized that, in the last year, he hasn't really faced a lot of wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? He's had some matches with Jay and, a match with Jimmy and, he had the matches in the tournaments. This against Solo, but this was him stepping up against AJ motherfucking Styles. Okay, AJ Styles, another former world champion, a former face of one of the companies they're in business with now, a star all over the world, who is a technical wrestler too, and has been doing this longer than Gunther. So Gunther met a match. Told the story of the leg to make Gunther tap out, which he succeeded in, although chicanery. And what I thought was stupid was the ref not reversing the decision. The ref's decision is final. Well, gee, man, we're all watching the fucking replay. You're telling me there's not a Tron in there for the ref to stare at, for Joe Zappa to stare at and go, "Oh shit, hey, I'm reversing my decision. AJ wins because Gunther did tap out." It's like that simple. It's that simple. Also, I hated the fact that Joe Zappa turns around after AJ gets hit in the fucking balls, sees AJ rolling on the floor when he wasn't 3 seconds earlier, and he's holding his fucking nuts and doesn't just stop and look at Gunther and go, "Did you hit him in the balls while I had my back turned?" Even because he knows Gunther's done it several times in the last couple months. So I thought, I'm like, are you just stupid? But other than that, great main event.
I hate this match, and it's because of fucking Gunther. Literally, you cannot say that AJ Styles lost to Gunther. You cannot say that because technically he tapped him out. No matter what you want to say, oh well, Gunther pinned him. No, Gunther tapped. So guess who tapped like a little bitch now? You did. I tapped out John Cena like a little bitch, and I also tapped out like a little bitch. I'm Gunther.
Fuck.
I made John Cena tap out like a little bitch. I'm going to keep saying it for the next 10 years, pretty much. But of course, this I honestly liked it, but at the same time, like I'm kind of more mid-ground because yes, he's stepping up to AJ fucking Styles. So that in itself is a ballsy move, but still, I'm more in the middle where I liked it because of that, but at the same time, Gunther fucked him over. So there's that. But isn't the original plan for Gunther to retire AJ Styles later this year?
I don't even know anymore, dude.
Possibly.
I thought that's what the plan was going to be.
Tonight they officially nicknamed him so one would imagine that's his gimmick now. We already know the rumors that he's going to be possibly retiring Brock at SummerSlam. So one would make sense that AJ already said, "I'm not wrestling past 50," and he'll be 50 into this year or next year, beginning of next year. This is his last year. one would imagine his retirement match is sometime in the next 12 months.
Yeah. So if he's still retiring AJ Styles, then why the hell are we starting the year with?
It's a possibility. I mean, if you think about it, Damian Priest and Aleister Black feuded for like 6 fucking months.
Oh,
And
God.
the way that this
Please
match
don't
ended,
Gunther, hell no.
and the way that this match ended, there's going to be a rematch at some point.
Yeah. I mean, you could also argue that we don't have any definitive proof AJ is wrestling through to the end of the year. So, I mean, he could have his last match against Gunther at Mania. It could be my career on the line type of thing. So, I mean, we could only have 3 more months of AJ for all we know. Maybe that's why they rocketed him into this spot so they could get him to his final match at Mania. But I would like to hearken that, you know, they're also changing Gunther's character. Because if the Gunther of old was a heel, but if you remember, he never cheated to win. He only started to do that after Jay tapped him out. Once he had that chint in his armor, he started periodically cheating behind the ref's back, rolling out of the ring and running away to catch his breath, you know, doing shit like that. This is all new for him. He's now actually becoming a chicken shit heel. That was not his character 6 months ago.
It's all about the sacred mat and respecting the ring and all that shit.
Think about it. Last week, he's got the balls to call out AJ to his face. Like, he literally said, I want him next week, only to get in the match and then spend 25% of the time running away from him and then cheating to beat him. So it's like, fuck, Gunther a year ago would have just tried to rip through him and still won without doing a single underhanded thing. So I think we're getting a lot of changes here that I didn't see coming, and a lot of them happened tonight on this episode of Raw.
Yeah, and finish up my thoughts just super quickly. There was one thing that commentator, I believe it was Michael Cole that said this, but he right now, he's still keeping an undefeated streak that Gunther unfortunately has. And that streak is that he has yet to lose a one-on-one match that is televised not for a title. He still is continuing that streak. So that's going to be very interesting to see who the hell finally breaks.
That's an interesting stat.
I think that's not even true, though. The year before, he lost to Cody, and it wasn't a title match. It was for, like, was it for the Crown Jewel title? Do we even really consider that an actual mainstream canon championship?
Apparently WWE does.
Or is that more like a trophy?
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, that was Monday Night Raw for this week. The Monday Night Raw review with the Snug Wrestling Crew. We'll be back again later on with way more and more content as per usual. But let's get out of here, y'all.
Well, guys, thanks for kicking it with us. That's going to wrap up this episode of Snug Wrestling. That was the Monday Night Raw review. If you love hanging out with us, you can do it every Monday and Friday night after Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown go off the airs respectively, usually at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, but we are on the European tour. Those times might vary, so be ready for that. Then for bonus content, you can hang out with us on all of our social media for live reactions to the actual segments just moments after they go off the air on all of our social media platform. Then head over to TikTok Live every Thursday night where myself, Mr. Blood, and that handsome Mexican Edgar over there, the head of Snug Wrestling, go one-on-one for random or relevant wrestling topics, and we answer your fan questions live. And mark your calendars, because not this Wednesday, but a week from this Wednesday, will be predictions for the first Saturday night's main event taking place this year, that weekend on the 24th of January. So we will see you there. And if you want to support the podcast, head on over to our TeePublic/Snug Wrestling. You can click the link on any of our social media, including wherever you're watching this episode right now will be a link for our merch like this, where you can pick up your Snug Wrestling merchandise and support the podcast. We've got over 100 designs for multiple different items, so check that out. Well, guys, until next time, stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. And boys, for all this freshness, I guess you could say we're at a new beginning. So that's one time. For the one time, boys, I said that was
4 letters.
Whoa, whoa.